Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of Algocamp. So now on this particular channel, we are actually releasing a series on data structures and algorithms where we are going to talk about some of the most important data structures and algorithmic topics which are extremely important for your upcoming software engineering interviews. Apart from that, these are some of the I would say topics that are very helpful in your day-to-day engineering job as well. We have already released a couple of series around searching, right? And we got a really good response on that. And from here, we are going to put really some awesome content around DSA. In most of these lectures, we will try to ensure that we focus on the intuition building aspect of the things, that how you are able to think about something, what are some of the things that people actually neglect but are going to clear some of the really important fundamentals. We are going to see coding implementation, but trust me, my focus is not going to be on the language delivery aspect of the things, that okay, you have to code this in C++ or Java. A lot of problems we have coded in multiple languages. Maybe some of the problems will be in C++, some will be only in JavaScript. I believe if you are somebody who is preparing for an interview, language in 2025 should not be a constraint, because most of the people can actually use ChatGPT to do language conversions. So my motive here is to make sure that you understand the concept in depth. You actually see how exactly somebody might have thought about the problem when they were carving out the problem, what can be some initial thought process, how you can actually drive yourself towards the solution. I believe these are going to be some really important videos that will be really helpful for your upcoming career. So do let us know what is your feedback. We are going to release a lot of more topics. Do let us know what all topics you want to have first, right? And the feedback is going to be important. Also, in case you are actually thinking to level up, you want to learn things with respect to low-level design, high-level design, overall system design for interviews, or you are somebody who wants to do project development in Spring Boot, you want to learn advanced Spring Boot concepts, or let's say advanced Node.js concepts, then we have a lot of courses, live courses running on algocamp.io. So you can check out the website courses.algocamp.io/learn, and there are a lot of courses that are actually listed. A lot of great discounts are actually going on all the courses as well. Do check them out. For each and every single course, we are going to add you to a dedicated Discord community where you can get your doubts resolved as well. All of the courses, we have made sure that we talk about things from the very beginner to the very advanced level that is going to help you level up in your career as a software engineer. So that being said, let's start the video without any further delay. Okay, so this is a new problem coming in front of us. Problem number 977 from LeetCode. Squares of sorted array. Right, quite a easy problem, I would say, if you already have the knowledge of merge to sorted arrays kind of a thing. Right, you can see 7.4 thousand upvotes, and let me just quickly sign in, and then I can show you which companies it has been asked in. So if you carefully see, then this problem has been previously asked 5 times in Amazon, Facebook, Yandex, Yahoo, Microsoft, Apple, PayPal, right? So quite a famous problem, I would say, even in Google and everything. What the problem says that given an integer array nums sorted in non-decreasing order, return an array of the squares of each number sorted in non-decreasing order, right? So you have been given an integer array, right? And it is sorted in non-decreasing order. Non-decreasing order means increasing order. So the elements are present in increasing order. Now you have to return a new array of the square of each number. So in the new array, there should be always the square of each number. And that new array should also be sorted in non-decreasing order, or you can say ascending order. For example, if the given array is -4, -1, 0, 3, 10, so you can see everything is arranged in increasing order. If you square up everything, -4 square is 16, -1 square is 1, 0 is 0, 3 is 9, 10 is 100. So the sorted ordering of the square of all of the elements is going to be this. The length of the array can be as big as 10 is per 4. You can assume even bigger array like 10 is per 5, 10 is per 6 also. And you need to make sure that you are able to find a solution in order of n time, right? How can we solve this question is something that is going to be very interesting and is going to be a good application of merging two sorted arrays. So before we start this particular video, I wanted to actually talk about a very small thing. So this video is going to actually help you understand a real system design interview scenario. We are going to try to mimic a 45 to 60 minute kind of like a round where we are going to solve a problem very similar to how you will solve a similar system design problem in this short time frame. Now, of course, when you work as a software engineer in a company, you have relatively larger amount of time and you can do a lot of more deep dives in even very small level features. But in an interview, the temperament is different, the approach is different, and a similar scenario is actually explained in this particular video. So do consume the content based on that. Also, if you want to see more deep dives and want to understand these topics in a much more deeper level concepts, then do check out the link in the description section below for our System Design 2.0 cohort, where we have talked about a lot more concepts in a lot more detail, which will make you definitely a better software engineer. So let's just start the video. Now let's see how can we solve this question. Okay, so let's say that you have been given an array like this: -5, -4, -3, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, and let's say instead of 5, at last we have 6. Cool. Now what we have to do, according to the question, we need to square each element. We need to square up each element, right? So squaring each element is going to call you order of n, right? After squaring up each element, you will get something like this: 25, 16, 9, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9, 36. After squaring, you will get an array like this. Now you have to sort this array also to get your final output. The most efficient sorting also, if you do, that is also going to take order of n log n time, right? So algorithms like merge sort and quick sort exist, using which you can sort a given array of length n in n log n time. But the original problem asks us to sort the array in order of n time. This is something that is going to be challenging, and we will figure out how we can do that. Now, how can we solve this question in order of n time is something that we will discuss. Now, what you can observe here is, let me remove all of this. What you can observe is that if you see this part of the array that is to the right of 0, this is sorted in increasing order. And if you see this part of the array and just the absolute value, like ignore the negatives or ignore the sign, just see the magnitude, then this is also sorted in increasing order, right? So technically you have two increasing order sorted arrays, right? If you forget about the signs, then can I say, if we have an array like 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, and an array like 1, 3, 4, 5, and if we apply the algorithm of merge two sorted arrays on these two arrays, you will get 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like this we are going to get. And then if we square up each element, this will be 0, 1, 1, 4, 9, 9, 16, 25, 36. This is our answer, right? So if we consider the array from this to the left of 0, that is from this index to this index as one array, and from this index to the last index as another array, you consider this as array A, this as array B, and you keep two pointers, one pointer here as I, one pointer here as J. If A at I is less than or equal to J, you put, modulus of A of I, if absolute of A of I is less than or equal to A of J, then what do? In your C of K, you're going to put A of I, and this time you'll do I minus minus K plus plus. Why I minus minus? Because you have to move to the left side, right? Because the array orientation is like right to left and here is left to right. Otherwise, you will do J plus plus and K plus plus. Using this simple property and this simple algorithm, you will be able to solve this question in order of n time, right? Because this is approximately going to be some n by let's say 2 length. Let's say half of the elements are negative and half of the elements are positive. So overall, if you see the length of this array is x and this array is y, then x plus y is going to be n. And I know that merge to sorted arrays is going to work in order of x plus y time. What is order of x plus y? Order of x plus y is order of n. So this solution is going to work in order of n, right? So all you have to do is visualize this array from left to right, visualize this array from right to left, keep a pointer I here, j here, compare. If absolute value of a of I is less than or equal to absolute value, sorry, less than or equal to just the value of a of j, then you are going to use this element's absolute value and put that in your array. Otherwise, use this element and put that in your array. And based on what element you have chosen, either do I minus minus or you do j plus plus. That's it, right? One more way in which you can solve the same question is if you carefully see, then again we can say the same thing, that this array is sorted in increasing order and this direction of the array is sorted in increasing order. Now, what can you do is you can put two pointers at the two very ends, and your final array and the final array, instead of building from the smallest element to the largest element of the two merged sorted arrays, we start building from the biggest element only. Can I say the biggest element of my merged sorted array is going to come from either the smallest element or the largest element? Because if we see in the terms of magnitude, the smallest negative element is going to be having the highest magnitude, and the highest positive element is also going to have the highest magnitude. So it's better to compare these two, right? Whether the absolute value of a of I, if absolute of a of I is less than or equal to a of j, right? Or you can even check absolute of a of j just to be safe. Absolute of a of j, that is, if this value's absolute value is less than j, we can use this value, right? So you can say minus 5 is less than or equal to 5, so you'll put absolute of I, c of k is equals to absolute of a of I, and now you can do I plus plus and k minus minus. Because you have set this element, you'll do k minus minus. Else what you can do, if this element, now you can see the absolute value of minus 4 is 4. Is 4 less than or equal to 5? Right? Now, whether you should pick 4 or 5, we should technically pick 5, right? Because we are filling from the largest element. So instead of having something like this, you can do greater than or equal to. That whatever element is greater, you need to pick that, right? You should not do less than equal to, you should do greater than equal to. So absolute value of minus 4, is it greater than or equal to absolute value of 5? No. That means you're going to pick this 5. So inside else, you're going to say c of k is equals to absolute of a of j, and then j minus minus, k minus minus. So you make it go here and k minus minus. And again, the same comparison will happen. Here also, what you're doing, you are merging two sorted arrays just in reverse order, right? That is, starting from the biggest element, you are doing the merging. So the same algorithm that we applied, in which we made two elements compete, which were the smallest element, here we are making two elements compete, which are the largest element, and trying to find the largest element of the final array. Once we find that, we are going to discard one of the elements. Time complexity still remains order of n. So in any one of the two ways, you can solve the given question, and I believe the coding implementation is going to be also extremely easy.